Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. If you've ever wanted to start using Premiere Pro, or you just want to get to know a little bit more about it, then this video is for you. Let's get into it. Before I start with the rest of the video, I will be linking the different sections and their times in the description below. So you can go down there and skip to any one of them at any time in the video if you'd like to. Anyway, let's get started with the basics. So the first thing you're going to want to do once you've opened up Premiere Pro is to create your first project. Now to do this, you're going to have to go down to the left column and find the New Project button. Once you've clicked on that, you're going to be prompted to choose a name and location for your video. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to call this Premiere Pro Tutorial. And now, by default, Premiere Pro saves all of your videos that you create under your documents file of your computer. But I like to keep my videos in a separate folder. So I'm going to click Browse, and then once you've found the place you want to save it, which I'm going to save it in my Premiere Pro Projects file over here, you can click there and click Select Folder. Now once you've done that, you've changed your name for your project and you found your location for your project. So now all that's left to do is click OK. It will prompt you with this little message over here, which you can just click OK on because we don't really need to change anything. Now, once you open Premiere for a beginner, this could be quite confusing for you, as there are a lot of panels and there are a lot of different places to put clips, and it can get quite messy and it looks quite confusing. So before I get on with the rest of the tutorial, I'm going to explain all of this to you very quickly. So to start off, we have the Learning panel. The Learning panel has a couple of tutorials from Adobe themselves to help you create your first movie. To be honest, I've never used them. I taught myself how to do all of this stuff. So if you want to, you guys can check that out. Otherwise, you can skip that tab. The next tab is Assembly tab. Now what this does is it opens up your project bin and makes it much bigger than every other thing. Now this allows you to organize your clips, and because if you have a lot of clips, it can be very confusing. I will get into organizing your clips later on in the video, but this just gives it a bigger area to work with so you can change more things. Now under the Editing panel, which is the next one, we have four, if you want to call them, boxes. Over here we have the Project Media bin, where all of your videos, photos, audio, whatever you need is stored over here. Next we have our Timeline. This is where you can create your movie. This is where you put all your clips and your audio above each other. You do the cuts, transitions, all of that stuff. And then above that, on the top right, is where you can view what's on your timeline. So basically viewing your video. On the left, we have a couple of little panels here. We have the Source, where if you click on a video in the project bin, you can view it in the source clip before you put it onto your timeline. Then we have Effects Controls. Now when we actually have a clip on the timeline, and you've clicked on that clip, you'll be able to change a whole lot of effects that you've put on the clip in this little panel over here. Then for a beginner, I wouldn't mess with any of the last two, as you won't really be needing them. Then the next panel would be Color. Now this is important if you want to really spice up your videos and make them look a lot better. Once you have a clip in your timeline, you'll be able to adjust the colors, the exposure, the contrast, all of those things, and make your videos really stand out. Yeah, so it's called color grading, and the panel's called Lumetri Color. However, I'm not going to get into it this video. I'll get into it in another video with you guys if you guys would like. And our final panel would be the Effects panel. You can access it by clicking Effects next to Color, or by clicking the right arrows at the bottom, the two arrows at the top right corner over here, and selecting Effects. This opens up your Effects panel. This is where you get all your zoom transitions, or your audio effects, your audio transitions, all of the stuff there, and Adobe already have quite a number of them for you. You can also create your own presets, or what you can do, like I've downloaded some people's transitions here. I have a link in the description to my free presets below for 2 transitions, which we'll get into later, which you guys can download and use for free. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is importing clips. Now, there are 2 different methods to do this. First, there's the right-clicking method in the panel bin, which basically what you do is you go to your Project Media bin, you right-click on it, and select Import. Now this will open up your computer's documents. So I have some of my footage in desktop. So I'm going to go into this folder here and just grab this clip right here. And then you're going to click open. You can select multiple clips by holding shift and then using your arrow keys. However, for this video, I'm only going to take one in. So you can click open. And now it'll import your files, and here it is. Now, if you click on it twice, it will open up in your source clip over here, and you can actually watch the actual clip. Then we have the second method. This is the drag and drop method. If you have your computer files open, like over here, and let's say you want to just import this clip over here, then you can click on it and drag it into Premiere Pro and either drop it in your project bin or on your timeline. If you drop it on your timeline, after importing, it will automatically go over there, and then you can play your clip. Then the next thing we are going to talk about today is organizing your project panel. Now you can think of it, if you're doing a lot of video editing, you're going to have a ton of videos and audio files, and this project bin can get quite messy. So making use of the assembly tab, what you can do is, so you'll see all your projects here. What you can do is you can create a new bin. You can click on this little folder button down here and it'll create a bin. And you can name it, like, let's say drone shots. And any drone shot that you have, you could put in there. Or if you have handheld shots, like these are all handheld shots. If you make a bin for that, you can put all your handheld shots in there. This just organizes your clips a bit better, and it can help you edit faster by making it easier to find all your clips. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is timeline settings. Now I can't stress how important this is, because I've exported videos before, and this has happened to me where the videos are different sizes and they're cropped and not cropped, and there's black bars around it. So what you need to do is you need to find out what your lowest resolution clip is. So in this case, my lowest resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p video. So you're going to go up to the top white bar over here, and you're going to select sequence. You're going to click on sequence settings, and then here will give you all the settings for your sequence, your frame rate, your frame size, all these aspect ratios and sample rates and display formats. I don't mess with this. The only thing I change is the frame size. Now, since our lowest clip is 1920 by 1080, the sequence settings are correct. However, if we had to have a 4K clip on this timeline and no 1080p clips, then what we would do is change this to 3840 by 2190. Now that will create a 4K timeline. And if you have a 4K timeline, then your videos, then when you export it, it will be in 4K. However, if you have 1080 and 4K, then you're going to want to leave that at your lowest resolution, which was 1080p by 920. Therefore, you just have to scale down your 4K clip and it'll fit in perfectly. Okay, so now, once we've done that, the next thing we're going to talk about is adding media to our timeline and a couple of basic editing tips and tricks. Okay, so firstly, find the clip you want to use in your timeline. I've already imported it, as you can see over here, and what I'm going to do is I'm quickly just going to unlink the audio because I don't want it to ruin the microphone while I'm talking to it. But anyway, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a few little quick, I'd call them little hacks, not really, little tools that Premiere Pro allows you to do. If you want to shorten your clip, like let's say I want to end the clip right over here, you can hover your mouse over the end of the clip and it will come up with this little bracket with an arrow pointing to the inside of the clip. Now to shorten it, all you got to do is click and drag, and the clip will be shortened to that length. This, and vice versa for the front. Then you hover it over and drag it in, okay? The other method to do this is when you're inside the project panel over here, and you have your clip selected that you can view on in the source panel. If you want to, let's say, start the clip over here, you can click I on your keyboard for in, go to the end of the clip where you want to cancel, where you want it to end, and click O for out on your keyboard. Now this will give you, when you drag this into your timeline, it will only give you this little bit of the clip. So you can see it's shortened already. Now this is helpful because it's easier to cut the clips and keep your timeline more organized. Okay, so the next tip I'm going to show you is a quick cut and delete for your clips. Let's say I don't like this little part of the clip over here, and I don't want to pull this part into the place over here to shorten it. You can hit C on your keyboard for cut, and you'll come up with this little razor tool with a line, right? Now if you hold that on any part of the clip, you can cut it like that. Then you can go, so I don't want to cut it there actually. I'm going to go Control Z to get rid of that. I'm going to cut it right here. Now it's going to divide, and then now it's going to divide your clip into 2 parts. Now to get back to your cursor, you're going to hit V on your keyboard. Now you can see the clip is actually separated into 2 different clips. Now I can delete the first part if I want to, or the second part. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to duplicate your clip. Let's say you want to do some advanced effects when you learn about them, or you just want to copy your clip twice in your timeline. What you can do is you can hit Alt you can hold down Alt on your keyboard, select your clip, and then drag it up a level, and that will create a duplicate. And you can do this as many times as you want, create as many layers as you want. Okay, and basically all that does is allows you to do some more advanced effects, which I will get into a tutorial about later on in another video. Okay, so now we're going to get started with the more interesting stuff, which is adding effects and transitions. These are so important to making your video stand out. I can't stress this enough. If you have a boring video of just videos playing and playing and playing, no one's going to watch your stuff. Okay, you're going to need to have some transitions and effects that spice up your video. I don't know if you guys watched my previous tutorials or my Shelly Point video, my summer fun video. I had some interesting effects like the zoom into the eye, which I'll link the transition below, and a speed ramp and a smooth zoom. I'll link all those transitions below, so you can go check out those tutorials. I will be linking my free presets below, which you can download off my Sellfy page. Okay, so the first effect I'd like to talk about is one of the most seamless and simple transitions in a Premiere Pro, and it's so effective for beginner videos. So what you're going to want to do is go to your effects panel. You can either click up here or go down to the project panel and click on these 2 arrows in the top right hand corner and select effects. Now what this effect does is it just fades quite smoothly between the 2 clips. It's called cross dissolve. So you can go and search it in your media panel over here, and you'll find it under video effects, under dissolve. All you got to do is click on that and drag it onto in between your 2 clips. You'll see it will appear there, and then you've put it in. Right, now to zoom into your timeline, you can use these little sliders down here. You can zoom in and out of your timeline. So if you want to zoom in to see the effect, how long it is, all you have to do is use these little balls. Now when you play the video, as it gets closer to the transition, you can see it starts to fade out into the new one, and it's quite seamless. You can see there, it's quite a smooth transition. It's a really easy transition to do, and it's really, really nice. I think it's a pretty good transition to start off with if you're just starting out making videos, and it's quite a good transition. Now the next thing I'd like to talk about is not really a transition or an effect. It's kind of more, it's more of a tool. So what you can do is, if you have a video on your top layer, right, a video above above one of your layers, so you have 2 layers of video here, and let's say you want to, it's going to be a bad example right now, but go to effects controls, and under opacity you have 3 different mask tools. You have the free draw bezier, the 4-point polygon mask, and the ellipse mask. I use the ellipse mask in my eye transition video, which I'll link below as well. But basically what this allows you to do, if we select free draw bezier and put the mask path toggle on, we can draw a mask around the sun, maybe, let's say like this, just by clicking, and we can click inverted to make it, sorry, not inverted, what was it again? Basically what it will do is it will take that little bit out of the clip. So you can see, it's a very bad example, but you can see there's like that little mask that I created, it's there, keeping the sun. So what you can do with this is it's for more advanced people, but you can create some really interesting effects, like what Sam Calder did in his Gymshark video. I'll show you right now. This was an incredibly effective way of using the mask transition, and I mean, it's used by incredibly famous videographers. So here's an example.
After a long day of travel, I finally made it to New York.
So I don't know if you noticed that, but as he went through the building, you can see he goes through the building, and then as he gets, there's a frame block at the wall. Basically what that does is it allows you to mask out the thing. So he carried on walking. However, once he'd gone behind the pole, they filmed in another location 3 times, and then they did a mask on the edge to bring the new clip in. This created quite a seamless transition through 3 of his walks. Okay. Now, the final effect I'm going to be talking about today is the zoom transition, which may be used, which is used by many popular creators. They change it up a bit to suit their needs. They don't necessarily do it just a plain zoom. They'll put like RGB splits and all of those things, which if you guys would like, I will make a tutorial on. However, for today, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just going to show you how to use it and what it does. For this transition, you will need to download my free transitions on my Sellfy page. There is a link below. All you have to do is click add to cart. What this will do, then it will take you to this little page over here. And all you'll have to do is, right now it's not available, but what you'll have to do is put in your email address. You'll get a link from Sellfy. They'll take you to another page and you just download it. Once you've downloaded it, it should end up in your downloads. I've already got it. I've moved it to my desktop, but you should get this folder called Greg Hutchison Visuals Free Presets. It's going to be a zip folder, so what you're going to need to do is right click on it and click extract all. Make sure that it saves to a location where you can find it, and then click extract. So now it's extracted them over here. Now what you're going to need to do is go into Premiere Pro, click on these 2 right arrows here and go to the effects panel, or click on the effects panel up here. You can delete your search from the previous thing, and then under presets over here, you can right click on presets and click import presets. Now you'll go to your desktop and you'll see my 2 presets. You'll select both of them and click open. They'll then open up into Premiere Pro under presets, right? And you should find them in a folder called Greg Hutchison Visuals Free Presets, and you'll have these 2 zoom transitions over here. Now, today for this video, I'm going to be using the zoom in transition. So to make this transition work, first what you got to do is double click on it and make sure, by default it will be set to type on scale. You need to save it to anchor to out point, which means that the transition will take place right at the end of the clip. So it makes it even smoother. You'll click OK, and what you'll do is you'll drag that onto your clip, the one that you want to zoom out of, and then put a second clip afterwards which you'd like to zoom into. So basically, once you've dragged this on, it will create a smooth zoom right about there into the second clip, like this. Sorry, my computer glitched out there a bit, but it'll basically zoom into the second clip. Don't mess with any of the settings over here, otherwise you'll change it unless you know what you're doing. But if you want to make it a bit more cinematic, you can put like a little whoosh sound or something there to make it look a bit better. But so far that's what you can do with the zoom in effect. You can still manipulate it if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it if you're a beginner, but yeah. So then the next thing we're going to be talking about, which is quite important as well for your videos, is creating titles and motion titles. So these are important because you can tell a story, you can like write some things on the screen, you can put the name of your video, credits, whatever you want. So anyway, the first thing to do is click on File in the top left hand corner here, select New, and then find Legacy Title. If you want, then you click on Legacy Title and you'll be prompted to name your titles. For this one, I'm going to call it PP Tut for tutorial. Then I'm going to click OK, and it's going to open up the title editing screen. Now, I'm going to create a title called let's go GH Visuals. Okay. I can manipulate this by changing the size up here to that big there. I can make it bold, underlined by clicking the T with the underline. That will make it bold if you're allowed to, and that will italicize it. You can center this inside of your text box. And then if you want to, a little trick here, you can click on these 2 center things to center your entire box in the middle of your page. So I'm just going to make this smaller so it will center properly, and then it'll be directly bang in the center. You can change your font up here with all the different fonts. I like some of the fonts that they have. This one I downloaded, However, what you can do now, if you don't like it being white, or in this video it doesn't suit it, what you can do is head over to your right hand bar over here and select color, and you can change this to any color you like. You can change it to blues, reds, greens. So once you've chosen your color, you click OK, and it'll change the color for you. Now let's say you like the color, but you want it to be a black background instead of the video that it's going to be on. You scroll down all the way to the bottom here, and you must make sure that you tick background. And then you can change your background to any color you want, red, green, you get the story. And you can just click OK afterwards, and it'll create your title. Then for this video, I'm just going to keep it black because it looks a bit better. Let's go and select black. And then once you've done and you make sure that this is what you want, you click the X at the top here. And it will save into your project media bin. Then what you need to do is drag it onto your video, onto your video layers, and it will be on top there. Now, some people like to animate their texts. Some people don't like to animate them. I'm going to show you how to animate them. However, to animate them, I don't think it's very nice just on a black background. So what I'm going to do is I am going to change the background back to what's below it, just so it looks a little better. Okay, so once you have got your background removed and you've just got the text on top of the video layer, you can animate it. To do this, you're going to need to select the title and go to the effects control panel. Now you can change stuff like the opacity, which makes it less visible or more visible. You can change the rotation. You can do a whole lot of things. But for this video, I'm just going to show you how to make it move. So let's say I want it to come on the screen from the left. So at the start of the clip, it needs to be off the screen. So for scale, so I'm gonna put the toggle animation on for position. However, I'm going to delete that keyframe quickly and use this axis over here, and I'm gonna scroll. Sorry, that's the vertical axis. I'm gonna use the horizontal axis, and I'm gonna scroll to make sure that the text goes off the screen completely, which is right there. Now, let's say at this point I want the text to be on the screen. I'm just going to click reset. And if you have your toggle animation on, it will automatically create a keyframe. So basically, this just makes the text come onto the screen like that, which is actually quite cool with this clip because the clip's also turning. So it gives it quite a nice effect like that. And then, so yeah, that's basically what you can do with the moving. You can fiddle around with this. I'm sure you can download a ton of presets for this. I don't really animate my titles that much, but if you want to, then that's fine by me. I don't mind. It does spice up your videos. In this instance right here, it actually makes it pretty cool because it moves with the video. Anyway, so now the final step to learning Premiere Pro is exporting your video. So what you're going to want to do is click File in the top left-hand corner once you're completely sure that you're ready with your video. You're going to go down to Export. You're going to select Media. You can also do this by clicking Control M. However, I'm just showing you this way for now. So you can click on Media and it will open up your video. Now over here, you can see what's on your video at a certain point. Now I do remember our video only started over here. So you can drag this little triangle to the cursor over there so that the export only starts over there. And you can stop it right there if you want to, let's say. And you can close it like that. Now down here it will tell you how big your file will be. Make sure you've got enough space on your computer for this. And then there are only two things that I really change when exporting. That is the preset and the output name. Now the preset is what quality you want it to be, whether you want it, and it also suits different social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, your phone, Vimeo, YouTube. Generally, I select YouTube 1080p HD, but you can select anything. Make sure that this is the lowest resolution that any of your clips are. So if your lowest resolution is 4K, then you can use YouTube 4K. However, if your lowest is 1080p and you have 4K, you have to use 1080p, otherwise it won't export. So once you've selected that, then you can change your output name by clicking on the blue text right next to output name. This will open up your computer's documents. Now remember, I like to save my stuff in my Premiere Pro projects file, and I'm going to name this Premiere Pro, oh whoops, wrong setting. I'm just going to name it PP Tutorial. And then you can click save, and that's the name it'll save it as. Then what you can do is you can click export once you're ready, and this will export your clip. Now obviously a 4K timeline will take way longer to export. If you have audio, it will take longer. So this will take really quickly because it's really small. So it will encode your stuff into the H.264 format, and then it will export it. Now if you didn't change your save location, then it will automatically go to your computer's documents, because Adobe has a file there. You'll click on Adobe, click on Premiere Pro, click on the 12, and then all your videos will be here. Now, so now that you've got a basic understanding of Premiere Pro, you can go and create your first video. I'd really love it if you guys want to, you guys can send me your videos that you create after learning from Premiere Pro, and maybe I'll do a reaction video to your videos and I can give you guys some pointers. However, thanks so much for watching this video. I love your guys' support, and if there are any videos you want to be made regarding Premiere Pro or any tutorials, please let me know in the comments below. I have linked all the previous tutorials I've done in the description below, as well as my link to my free transitions. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Have an epic day, and remember, never stop creating.